Hey, welcome back to another video, another legislative bill video breakdown. I appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure I'm just gonna start off right from the onset. If you're loving the content that I'm putting out here explaining these bills, please comment, rate, share, subscribe, get the notification bell going on, and you won't miss these updates because there's some serious stuff going down right now that I need to get on top of. I mean, the bills just keep coming and coming and coming, and I can't even keep up half the time. But this is what I'm here to do. This is what I promised y'all I would be here to do. So this is what we're doing. Have you thought about a second how the Democrats, the non-fiscal conservatives, right, and the Republicans that's supposed to be the fiscal conservatives, how they're all of a sudden in bed with each other? You thought about that yet? It doesn't matter what party's in power. Somebody is spending a hell of a lot of money without no offsets, leaving blank checks for years. Some of you already know what I'm about to get into, so we're just going to go ahead and get into it and show you guys what our Congress is doing to us, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, even our fourth generation grandchildren, what they're doing to us right now. And because we're so hyper focused on Trump and all this stuff that's going to these distractions, and they just keep spending our money into an oblivion. All right, so let's get into it here. Let's get into it here. This is H.R. 1327, to never forget the heroes Act, September 11th Victims Compensation Fund Act. Okay, now we've heard so much about this. Jon Stewart, he's been like this ultimate vocal activist for it, and I get it, right? Because it's something we do need to take care of. We do need to take care of it 100%. But then we had the dissent of one of the guys. I forgot what his name is. I really don't care what his name is. They call out Mike Lee and Rand Paul as hypocrites, and they don't want to help 9/11 victims and things like that. And they're not looking, these same people, even everybody is talking about this, is not looking at the long-term future. They just think, oh, right now, right now, right now, right now. And what are we? Do we just care about ourselves, or do we care about America and where the direction is going financially? So let's get into it here real quick. As you can see here, this is the act. It's actually on the president's desk right now to be signed. All right. You can see how your senator voted here on this. 97 yeas, 2 nays. As we know, it's Rand Paul and Mike Lee are the two that did not vote for it, with Senator Isaacson out of Georgia didn't vote on the bill at all. So you can go check that out. But probably after this video, you probably will want to call your senator and be like, yo, what's up with that, right? After I explain this to you and show you what's going on here. So to break down this bill here in short sense, before we get into the bill and read it, it allows claims to be filed until October 2090. Keep this in mind when we read this bill, all right? It requires VCF policies and procedures to be reassessed at least once every 5 years, at least once annually, to require claimants to be paid for the amount by which a claim was reduced on the basis of insufficient funding, to remove the cap on non-economic damages in certain circumstances, and periodically adjust the annual limit on economic loss compensation for inflation. Right, and this is also important. The bill exempts the budgetary effects of this bill from the pay-as-you-go rules established by the Statutory Pay-as-you-go Act of 2010 and fiscal year 2018 Congressional Budget Resolution. If you don't know what the pay-as-you-go statute is, I would suggest you go look that up so you get a more understanding. I won't get into that here in this video. With that, so yeah, so without further ado, let's go forward with this bill. All right. This is H.R. 1327. And this act is to extend the authorization of the September 11th Victims Compensation Fund for of 2000 through the fiscal year of 2092. 2092. Be it enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. Section 1. This act may be cited as the Never Forget the Heroes Act, James Zadroga, Ray Pfeiffer, Luis Alvarez permanent authorization of the September 11th Victims Compensation Fund Act. Section 2. And this is the original act. Authorization and funding, Section 410 of the Air Transportation Safety and System Stabilization Act, okay, which is Title 49 of the United States Code 40101 annotated, is amended in subsection C by striking $4.6 billion and all that follows through expended and exerting such sums as may be necessary for fiscal year 2019 and each fiscal year thereafter through fiscal year 2092 to remain available until expended. In subsection E, by striking upon completion of all payments under this title and inserting on October 1, 2092, or at such time thereafter as all funds are expended. All right. The extension limitation on claim filing, Section 405, was that Section A, Clause 3, Subparagraph B of the Air Transportation Safety and System Stabilization Act, which is Title 40, United States Code, note 401010 note, is amended by striking the date that is 5 years after the date of enactment of this act, basically, and inserting October 2092. Compensation reduced by special master due to lack of funding, Section 406, Paragraph D, subsection 2 of the Air Transportation Safety and System Stabilization Act is amended by adding at the end of the following: compensation reduced by special master due to insufficient funding. In general, in any claim in Group B as described in Section 405, in which prior to the enactment of the Never Forget the Heroes Act, permanent authorization of the September 11th. I'm just going to call it the September 11th Act because that's just too much to read. That's just legalese there. For legal purposes, I throw it all in there like that. But the special master had advised that the claimant that the amount of compensation has been reduced on the basis of insufficient funding. The special master shall, in the first fiscal year beginning after sufficient funding becomes available under such act, pay the claimant an amount that is determined by the special master equal to the difference between. I'm not going to read all that, but I'm going to read this bottom part though, because this part here is interesting in this bill too. Adjustment of annual gross income limitation, Section 405, all that good stuff, mumbo jumbo, of the Air Transportation Safety and System Stabilization Act is amended by striking $200,000 and inserting the annual gross income limitation. It's kind of scary when you think about that, right? If you're thinking about the fiscal responsibility of this, right? Personally, I'd be sort of alarmed too when it comes to that. I mean, it's an open-ended purse, and I'll explain why it is an open-ended purse or blank check, as I like to say, right? According to, let me pull up the CBO report for you guys here. All right, here's a CBO report on this, right? And if you guys don't know what this is, the CBO report usually breaks down the cost, what a bill is going to cost, if it's going to put us in a deficit or in a positive. And I think it's very important that you see this here, right? And in the first 10 years, $6.7 billion goes into this fund. Okay, as you see the deficit, right? Yeah, remember, this is counted in millions of dollars by fiscal year, okay? $6.7 billion a year for 5 years. And then we go to 10 years out from 2019 after, we're looking at $10 billion. $10 billion. And then guess what? After 2029, guess what happens? It's a blank check. We can see it here. Increase on budget deficits in any of the 4 consecutive 10-year periods beginning in 2030. Greater than $5 billion. Yes, you're reading that right. Greater than $5 billion. We're just going to blank. This is what the blank check could do. I hope this is sinking in. We're supposed to be about fiscal responsibility, right? We're supposed to be about all that stuff. Okay? But then we have our senators. Actually, it's all of Congress. It came out of the House first. Okay? Spending all this money. Then we're looking at greater than $10 billion. Really? Greater than $5 billion adding to our deficit. But then we have these same people who've been paying attention to the news today, last couple of days. Oh, this new budget bill is going to expand the deficit by $300 billion. But you weren't worried about that exact thing when y'all passed this damn bill. Were they? You see the bait and switch game they're playing with us? I mean, seriously, we need to call all these cats out. Every last one of them. We need to call them out. Because you can't sit here and have a blank check for somebody, but then turn around the next couple of days, talk about we're expanding, we're busting our debt ceiling. We're adding $300 billion to the freaking deficit. When our deficit is probably hitting about almost $1 million a darn minute. Excuse me, y'all. This is what I need y'all to understand. Clearly understand. We got to call these cats out. I mean, greater than $5 billion after the 10-year period is up. $5 billion a year. Excuse me. Think about this. 92 and 30 is what? 62, right? Just take the baseline. $5 billion. Multiply that times 62. What do you get? Yeah, exactly. I know what you're thinking right now. Like, what the hell just happened? Yeah, that just happened. And no one seems to care. But when it comes to spending money on the damn budget, and we're $300 billion busting the ceiling, but then you leave this open-ended for a blank check for 60 some odd years. They could have kept it at 10 and then came back in 10 years and be like, hey, we need to reauthorize this. What is this costing us? But nobody wanted to do that because they got into their feelings about this. And I get it. But we also got to be fiscally responsible. Talking about impeding on our liberty and our freedom to spend money where we need to spend it and how we should spend it. Before I close this video, though, I have a call to action for everybody. If you pay attention to my Twitter You'll start seeing it flying across here within a day or so. Hashtag, where is my receipt? And this is where it needs to go. This is where we have to get. When we make a big enough noise, they will do something. But hashtag, where is my receipt? I think we need to start that trend so these politicians understand we see them and we want to know where our money is going. Because if not, America itself is in trouble. As far as staying a sovereign nation is concerned. If our economy crashes, the world economy crashes. If we go bankrupt, oh, good Lord, what would happen? So think about this, patriots. Think about this. Where's my receipt? Because we got to hold all these people accountable. And if you got a so-called budget hawk or a spender as your representative, you need to vote them out. It's imperative that we get these spenders out of office. $5 billion over 60 some odd years after the fact. Everybody should be a little ticked off about that. So again, if you like this video, definitely please come through, click on the like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit that notify, make sure you get the update on these videos. And if you have any ideas about any bills you might want me to cover or look into to explain to you, please by all means message me, leave a comment in the down below, let me know what you think, etc. And please share this with your friends because this stuff is very important. It is very, very important to our plight to remain a fiscally sane nation. Until next time, y'all, God bless you. God bless America. And God bless everyone.